everybody these days wants to know the secret. They think there's some sort of secret activation exercises, secret exercises that are going to help them build copious amounts of muscle, and that's the thing that's missing. So everyone's kind of searching for these activation exercises, but what you really need to do is bring it back, peel it back a layer, and actually understand that muscles are contracting. That's what they're doing. So they're shortening. Muscles are shortening. What you need to do to ensure that you're doing things correctly is actually use the musculature that you want to target with an exercise. Okay? So obviously, yes, the exercise that you choose matters. But if you're not using the musculature you think you're targeting, it's irrelevant. You know, if you're trying to do a chest press or any kind of chest movement and it's all shoulders or it's all triceps, you're not going to get the stimulus that you think you're getting from that exercise. So a lot of people do struggle with activating the correct musculature. You may be, oh, some exercises I really feel it, some exercises I don't really feel it, and you can kind of say that there's bad exercises then because they don't really work for you in terms of you don't feel them as much. Now, we shouldn't be basing everything off feeling an exercise. However, I do realize that it is important that you actually can feel the musculature that you're targeting so that you know that the tension is in the correct place. So one of the things I get a lot of people to do is to perform the exercises with body weight. And I don't mean, you know, dips, pull-ups and that kind of stuff. I mean just using their body as resistance, just using their actual, or performing the movement with just their body. So for example, if you're doing a bench press, if you're doing a dumbbell incline bench press, whatever the exercise is, and you want to target your chest, I'm just going to get you to do it, not even lying down, nothing like that. I just want you to be able to use your chest to perform that exercise. So no resistance, nothing, just body weight. So you should be able, again, it's a chest press or it's a bench press here, I should be able to use my chest. So I'm feeling my chest do that movement. I'm not thinking extend my arm, I'm not thinking bringing elbows in and elbows out, anything like that. All I'm thinking of is internally feeling that musculature do that movement. So you can see there, like my chest is activating, and that's what's bringing that movement in, right? Then you can start layering that in and doing it lying on your back in the same position you would do your bench press in, whatever it is. One of these ones that people kind of really struggle with is lateral raises or rear delt raises, right? So doing them, again, just with your body weight, just with the resistance of your arms, and really focusing on actually using the musculature that you're trying to target. So you're trying to target the medial delt here. So that's what you're thinking of. It's all internal. All you're thinking is, this is the shoulder that I want to work. This is the musculature I want to target. What do I have to do with my arms? What, like externally, even though it is obviously internally, what do you have to do with the movement to get that internal tension that you want? So I know for me, right there, that's kind of reaching the limit. I could go further, but you can see it's kind of the traps doing the work. So I'm already using this as an activation exercise to really feel out the movement. And even with just the resistance of my arms, because I'm doing it really focused, really trying to dial that tension in, like I'm feeling the side delts work. Like I'm actually feeling them get a little bit of a pump here. And that's kind of what people are expecting when they do exercises. But people generally go through the exercise like they do this. And there's a lot of momentum. Even if they're going, oh yeah, I'm trying to catch this tension, and then kind of do it, like the arms are moving all over the place when they do it. Whereas if you do it with just your body weight, just your arms, and use that as an activation exercise in and of itself, nothing fancy, you're just doing the exercise you're going to be doing, but by using your own body weight as resistance, you know? So you're just purely internally cueing. You think this is the exercise that's supposed to target this muscle. Can I target that muscle with no exercise or no resistance? And if you can't, then you've got a problem, because you're not going to be able to optimally load that muscle using that exercise. Or you may have to think about, is that exercise actually targeting the musculature I think it's targeting for my body, you know? Now, you can get really fancy and you can start using bands and like specific activation exercises, and they do obviously play a role in the whole process. However, you should be able to feel an exercise with just your body weight. You should be able to contract the musculature you want to target, you know? So just thinking about it, like if I'm thinking my side delts, like I should be able to initiate the movement and fully contract the movement with just my side delts. Like they're doing all that work there, nothing else, right? I'm feeling them kind of get to the limit of their range here, and that's what we're focusing on when you use just body weight as your activation exercise, you know? So think of it as an internal process, because that at the end of the day is what muscle building and even strength building is. It is an internal process, and yes, at times you may have to focus on an external measurement, but you still have to be able to stimulate the internal process. So if you can't feel it and you can't actually use the musculature you want to use, you're not going to be able to optimally overload it. So that's another little quick tip there, guys. Use just your body weight to actually feel out the movement. It sounds a little bit like, oh yeah, body weight, I'll just go rush through this. But no, if you actually take the time to really dial in that tension on whatever exercise it is, it can even be back training, it can be leg training, everything like that. If you use just your body weight, really feel the musculature working, and that's only going to help you then when you start externally loading it.